Hey everybody, Jem Schofield here and welcome to Brownbox Video. What is Brownbox Video? We get a box, it's brown, there's something in it, hopefully having to do with something fun, production, doing electronics, something. Figure out what's inside of there, how to use it, so let's go. Okay, this is it, box number 1, and we are going to open it and see what is inside of it. I've got a lot of brown boxes around here, so I will see what's in here. There's, let's see. Yes, okay, so this is actually a brand new product, and I was hoping it was this one. Here it is. Name of the company is Luxli. It is part of the Orchestra series. Okay, so Orchestra series. Multicolor LED light. It is called the Viola. So Orchestra Viola 5-inch multicolor LED panel. And then this right here, just see, yep, okay. So I was told about that and that should be pretty cool. So this is what we want to take a look at. This right here. See, what does it say on the back? Tuxedo not required. Ha ha ha. Okay, so 1 year limited warranty. Gratis group and gratis, and let's see what we've got inside of here. So we have an instruction manual. Okay, well maybe I'll need that, we'll see. We've got a pretty good weighted ball mount here with a 1/4-20 thread and another 1/4-20 cold shoe mount on the bottom, so that's cool. Battery charger. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, it's the one that you can basically change the mount here, but let me see the light itself. It's a fixed mount, L series. So I would prefer that this was a locked mount. Usually what I'll do is I'll just put a little bit of gaff tape around it because I do find that these things do slide off sometimes, and so you just put a little bit of gaffer's tape around here and electrical tape and it'll just hold that. So battery here. So this is an L series Sony style battery, 2200 milliamps. So that's okay, but I've heard that this thing is Bluetooth enabled, so if that's the case, I'd probably go ahead and get a beefier battery for this system. And then of course the light itself. Let's see if there's anything else in the box. Nothing else inside of the box, so that one's done. And there you go. So next one, let me just go ahead and get rid of all this stuff. Keep the manual around there. Here's supposedly an app for this, so I might have to go download that in a minute. Okay, so the light itself. Let's go ahead and put the battery on. A little lock for the battery, so that's good. You need to use that for the release, so the chances of that falling out are not very good, which is a good thing. 1/4-20 tap on the bottom here, so that's great for rigging. Got a DC input here for a power adapter, which obviously wasn't in the box, so you're going to need to get that. There's a little USB port on here, so let me just go ahead and take a look at the manual and see what it says. In the manual, DC power input, reset button, so it gives you a paper clip for that if you needed to. Micro USB port for firmware updates. Okay, so it's not a charging port, so that's for firmware updates, and there you go. Okay, now, we know what this does. This is for rigging. We know what this does. It charges the battery. This is the light itself, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Power button, turn it on, Luxli, and then there you go, battery. Bluetooth is flashing there. It says 0%, and then on the side here, looks like we have light intensity, and then we have the color temperature itself. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and see. So light intensity itself, so all the way up to 100%, and then as I dial this up or down, all the way down 3000 Kelvin with a little incandescent bulb icon at 3200, it goes solid, so that's cool. There we go, fluorescent 4300, split the difference, and then we go up here, daylight 5600. We have cloudy, they're putting that at 6400 Kelvin. Sometimes people will say that's 6000. And then we get up into the shade, 7200 Kelvin, and then you can go all the way up. Oh, that's great. All the way up to 10,000 Kelvin, which is great, especially if you're doing a little bit of fill, sun's going down, you're in the shade, that kind of stuff. We can get really, really high in terms of Kelvin temperature, very, very blue light. Another little button here on the side, and that one, if I press it, switches over. Okay, good. So we see 137 degree. Let's see what happens when we turn this. Okay, so so now we have, because this is an RGB light, so it's not just tungsten or daylight LEDs with phosphor. It's got multiple colors that they can mix. So if I slide through this, we've got green, cyan, blue, magenta, red, yellow, and then back to green. So that is pretty cool. So bring the intensity down here so you can see what happens with that as I'm dialing that. So this could be really, really cool. Not only, let me flip it back to just sort of regular color temperatures. This could be really, really cool, not only as a little light for fill or, you know, just sort of a makeshift key light for small stuff with very sensitive cameras, but it could also be really, really great as a background light, so we can throw some color on the background for shoots and do stuff like that. So that's really cool. Now, let's take a look at what's inside of this box here. And I've heard that this is one of only a couple right now, so I'll have to send this back. And that is, looks kind of like a lens shade, but inside of here are diffusion panels, and we've got 3 of them. There's a 5-degree one, a little dirty over here, and we've got a 20-degree one and then a 40. And not only are they changing the basically angle of the light itself, but they have different levels of diffusion, with the 40% being the most. This is the one I'd probably use. Looks like that this just sits right on top of the light itself. It's got some grooves, and so does the light. So the light has these grooves. This has a sort of female, the male on here, and let me make sure I have this the right way. Okay, so this is going to be for where the 1/4-20 holes are. That's going to sit over the dials. That's going to, okay, good. Now I've got it figured out. So give me a second here, because it always takes longer when you're doing this stuff on camera, just because you want it to go into the right place instantly, and it always takes twice as long because you're on camera. Okay, so there we go. So let me just go ahead and make sure that's in all the grooves. There it is, and pop it down. There it is. Okay, that's cool. Now I see that there are also some female grooves here, and of course the diffusion panel itself. We can consider that male, so that will go into those grooves. Let me just pop them in, and we'll see how this all works. Now, one of the advantages, obviously, to diffusion is it not only softens the light, but when you're talking about LEDs, in fact, let me just show you, that have multiple diodes here. Those can cast multiple shadows. So as soon as you put enough diffusion in front of it, it will act like a single light source. So let me just go ahead again, and I'll do this. Maybe I'll speed up this video so you guys don't have to be tortured by this. So that's on there now. We've got the 40-degree one, and just turn that up and we can see that's a nice diffuse source. Put that up against a box or something, and I can see that there's a single shadow there. It's not casting multiple shadows, which is what we want. So that's really cool. I could see that 40-degree living on here most of the time, unless I needed something very directional. Maybe the 20 if I just wanted a little bit more light output. Collapses down. I could see that again living on there most of the time. Hold it. Let's see. Pull that out. It's kind of like a bellows. It looks like it has some air vents too, though this thing's not going to generate a lot of heat. That's pretty cool. Now I'm staring at this little Bluetooth icon blinking all the time. So I think I need to go download the app for this, which is called Conductor, and then I'll come right back and I'll talk to you about that. Okay, so I've installed the conductor app on here. I have Bluetooth on my device, and now I'm going to turn on the light itself. And I did a test pair just to make sure everything was okay. So now I'm going to fire up the app, and I actually set it up to always pair, and then let's just see here what's happening, and there it is. So I am using the slider here for the intensity of the light, and it's changing the intensity. Color, temperature, just go ahead and move your hand around, and then there are presets here like there are on the actual light itself. I've heard that there's some specialty stuff here. Magic hat, okay, strobe, sign, you can loop it, not loop it. Okay, so you can do some pretty interesting things in terms of that. The user interface on this app is a little old-fashioned, but it's still pretty cool. And for me, just the ability to be able to change intensity here, and then of course to be able to just pick a color is awesome. I've also heard that you can even take a photograph and use that as a reference point, and it will map the color. I need to do some more testing on that to see how that works. So there you have it, an app that's going to control this thing, which is really, really cool. That's it, the Viola. I don't know what the reviews of this thing are going to be like because it's not out in the world yet, so we're going to have to wait to see. I'm going to have to try it on some production. Like I said, I can see using it as a little fill light in a pinch, maybe just bounced off of something, or with this diffusion panel, a little key light, though I think it'll be a little bit of a hard source because of the surface area here, so I would tend to push it through something a little bit larger in that case. Definitely could see it being used as a specialty background light in terms of the color capabilities of the light source. And also, I think it could be used for small things like what we call specials, where we put a light onto a particular object and we just sort of have it putting some, just a little special onto it. That's the Viola 5-inch from Luxli, part of the Orchestra series, conductor app, diffusion panels, all kinds of stuff. I guess I'll put a link to this light when it's available, hopefully to the diffusion panel device also. And that is the first episode of Brownbox Video.